Hello everybody. On this Sunday I want to give a weekly forecast, in this case with the Agimat signal scanner. Yes, and you can use the Agimat scanner to plan your trades too. Normally I show you this with the MetaGrid Trade Manager, but today I want to use the Agimat signal scanner, which is also good for planning trades. In this case, of course, we don't get any fresh signals now because the market is closed at the moment, but we can use here these trend buttons to see what is going on, what was going on last week, and what could going on in the new week. I'm using the Agimat signal scanner here on the M30 time frame. So if we would get signals, which is not possible, the market is closed, as I told you, then these signals were for the M30 time frame. But here the trend buttons I have configured for the H4. So the higher time frame I use is the H4. So if I click then through the pairs, these trends which you can see on these buttons are all for H4. So if there's a pair in red, this means on this higher time frame on the H4 we have at the moment a sell trend or downtrend, and the green ones are telling us that on the H4 we have at the moment, based on the Agimat trading method and system, an uptrend. But I want to point first to the news we get in the new week, and there are a lot of news coming in the new week. So the forecast is not that easy. You have really to observe what is the market doing. We have a lot of news. The FOMC statement. We have the non-farm payroll on Friday. And then we have the Bank of England with its monetary policy summary and so on. A lot of news in the new week, which is basically good because then maybe the market forms good trends. But this means also that we have to watch the market very closely and that it's not so easy to forecast something. So have please this news in mind in the new week. Yes. Okay, let's check some pairs and what is going on these pairs. Let's start with the Aussie CAD here, and if I click here on this button, then the chart opens on the M30 because this is the time frame which I used here for the signals. And so here are the M30 at the moment. I want to change here this here. So okay. No, I want it that way. So, and then we check the H4, and you can see we are here at the moment. This is the reason why the scanner tells us we're here in a downtrend at the moment based on the Agimat signal. Here you can see we have the blue arrow pointing down, and then we got here this yellow box. And if we have the blue arrow pointing down and then comes a box above the candles, this means there's a potential down move or down trend. And you can see after this yellow box has been formed, it was going down for a bit at the end of the week. This blue arrow from the Agimat system repaints. So the reason for this is that it is basically the zigzag indicator, and so it shows always the highest or lowest point in the market. And so if the price would have going up here on this position, then the blue arrow would go up too. So the only thing which is not repainting here is the yellow box which stays here on the chart, and this is the reason we, on the Agimat it's combined with this repainting blue arrow and the not repainting yellow box. So, and this is the reason for the downtrend. And what can we do in the new week or expect in the new week? Firstly, we have here, of course, a potential support, and you also can see that it bounced here. The support is here. It was resistance at this time, and then it jumped here over, and so this is now a support line here. And so far, it got not broken, and this is the first thing we should observe in the new week. If this support line holds, if the price here goes higher, or if price manages to break through the support line. And if we go to a lower time frame like the H1, you can see we had here the blue arrow, which I told you it's pointing at now the lowest place for the last candles. So it has nothing to mean for us. On the H1, we are still here in a downtrend too. This is the last valid signal from the Agimat system. We had the blue arrow and the box, both we need. The same here, we have here the arrow and the box, and then it's a valid a trend confirmation. So it was a downtrend here. If we get in the new week a yellow box maybe, and then it goes upwards, then it's a good idea to go into a buy trade. And if it breaks here this support line, I would only check for new sell trades here. For example, if we get here the break and then it retests here this line and then it begins to go lower, then I would here jump into a sell trade. We have several positions as a target. Maybe here it comes here to this next support, and we have also here support, former support here, and of course here this low would also be a possible target depending on how this pair moves the next week. But maybe the Aussie gets again strong. I don't think that that we see a strong sell trend next week. In my opinion, I think it could maybe retest again here this area if this support holds, like I told you. So I'm more a little bit in a buy mood here on this pair so far. Okay, this was the Aussie Cat. Let's see where is our... Now I close the Agimat system too. I reopen it. Just a moment. Let's check where we have it. I think the complete MT4 is going down. Let me restart the MT4 for you. I closed it by incident, so I restart it. It takes some seconds. This here is another MT4, a demo account where I'm testing something, so we have to wait until the MT4 is up again. So I clicked on the close button for the MT4 and it has to restart now. It can only take a while. By the way, if you have any questions, you can use, of course, the YouTube chat. And here we are back again on my chart here. And I wanted to click here, but I clicked here. Okay, my mistake. Now we have to wait, of course, that it rescans here because I reopened here the MT4, so we have to wait a little bit, but we can already check the pairs which are scanned. If they are yellow, the scanner has not scanned them yet. If they are green or red, then the pair is already scanned. So we check the EuroCAD here, and we go to the H4 like before, and you can see it broke here this trend line, the EuroCAD. This was the trend so far, which did hold, and then it got broken here. And so we are more in a sell mood at the moment. If we check the lower time frame, you can see this was the break here of this trend line. So at the moment, maybe it wants to retest here this last support here. I think this is a good area that price maybe goes a little bit higher, and then it moves to this area here. We will see this next week. And then this is here a major area where we have to check what price is doing here. And on the upside, we have here resistance. You can see here, we had here support at this time, and it's now acts as resistance here when price came back. Maybe it retests this on Monday. And then if it goes further down, then we could target here this level here. So I would wait that it goes a little bit more up here, and then it can here bounce and goes deeper, or it breaks again here this line, and then we would see if it can go higher. There was a lot of red candles you can see here, only red candles, red candles. I think it's very likely that we see some blue candles and then it goes further down here on the new week. This is what I would looking for on this pair here. Okay, this time I closed the right one. We have here already scanned the Aussie yen. Let's check this pair and I switch to the H4. Yeah, you can see at the moment it sits here around. So this is a pair which was also like the most Aussie currencies or pairs in the up mood the last week. And maybe we see a little retracement in the new week. So far it's still a buy signal. We have here the blue arrow, but the yellow box is missing so far. And we have a very strong support now here. You can see this here. Here it was resistance and resistance and resistance. And now it did hold one time as support. Maybe it retested on Monday, Tuesday. And then it could go further up. This is the interesting level or area I would looking for. What happens here around. Of course, we could also draw here a trend line here. If we use this trend line got broken, but not really a good break. You see it broke here, this trend line, but then a lot of spiky candles here. So I would not trust completely this break of this trend line here. Could also be a false break. If you go to the daily time frame, you can see we have here on this area maybe a next level where price wants to go. If this line holds, of course, then this is maybe the next level which gets tested here. And this is a way around 100 pips. So this is possible, of course. So I would skip this pair until we know for sure what is going on this line, if it can hold or if it gets broken here on this area. Let's see, on the Aussie Kiwi, we go to the H4. It's almost the same like on the pair before. Here we can see also some trend lines we could draw. Here was a trend line which got broken then here, but it was only a retracement, as you can see, and then it was going further up. And if we draw a new trend line, which is not that easy, if we use these two candles here to connect, and then maybe we see a retracement here, a retest of this trend line, and then it goes further up. So I would do the same like the pair before. I would wait here what is really going on this pair, if the Aussie can move higher. Here on the daily, let's see, it's almost the same like before. We have here then the next the resistance, and so I think it's possible that this pair goes higher. If we draw a Fibonacci line here from this high to this low, we see that it stopped exactly at the moment on the 50% level. So on Friday, or on, it came on Friday not over this 50% level. And then the next is the 61.8 here around, which does not perfectly match with this line here, but still, if it goes higher, this and this are the two areas as a target, maybe, if you want to use it. I want to delete here this line for a moment. I don't want to delete a complete indicator. So I think it's the same like the pair before. So let's check a different pair, the Aussie dollar on the H4. This is a strong up move so far, and here we could draw better trend lines. You can see we can connect here all these points here, and then we had from here to here a steeper line. So this is a clear sign. If you get such a steeper line, it's a really strong uptrend so far. And then on the last trading hours in the last week, the traders were very indecision. They don't want to push the price higher. So maybe this is a first sign that we see again a retracement after this many blue Heikin-Ashi candles here. It would no surprise if we see that it's going down a bit, maybe to this trend line again. So we have to observe here what is going on here. We have here the last high. Comes it over this line or not? And of course we have here a potential support here from the former spike here. So I would wait on this pair that it comes back to this trend line, and then I would watch what it's doing here. Or if it breaks here this line and it retests it and goes higher, then I would here jump into a buy trade on the Aussie dollar here. Okay, so I remove again all the trend lines. And then let's see what is going on here on the cat pairs, the cat Swissy, for example. You can see it here, the buy confirmation, the blue arrow and the yellow box. And from there on, it was going really up. And yeah, maybe we see again here a little retracement and then it goes higher. Let's see on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, of course, it's a down move. It was a down move, and then it began here the confirmation for a up move. You can see it was in a strong downtrend here, and then the sorry, it's not confirmed so far. My mistake. We still don't have the yellow box. We have only the blue arrow, but there's no yellow box after that, so it's not a confirmed uptrend so far. It's still in a down move here on the daily, but it managed here to make some support. You can see this is our very strong support line now, and maybe this down move is stopped for a while, and then it begins here to retest all the levels before. So our first retest could be here this resistance, and the next retest could be here around here. If this is a beginning of a new uptrend, of course, we cannot be sure here so far. If you check again the H4, here we have the uptrend confirmation on this time frame, but you can see it came not over this here. It's bounced again here. I think it wants to retest here this line. So I would also check on Monday what it's doing. Maybe we see again a down move again, and then if it can break here this last highs, I would go here for this as a target. Otherwise, I would wait if it comes back all the way back here to this massive support, and then if it breaks, of course, the support and retests it and goes down, then this is a clear further sell move here. Otherwise, if these lines hold, we are here more bullish than in a sell move here so far, in my opinion. I can be wrong. Let's check some euro pairs, of course. Let's check the euro Aussie. We are on the H4 again. You can see the last valid signal is this sell signal, which was a very good signal the last week. We had the blue arrow, we had the yellow box, and let's see where the box came here. It came here, and from there on, so far it moved 300 pips down on the H4. A very good move here. And if you get such a signal from the Agimat signal scanner, you don't have to check all the charts. This is why we have the Agimat signal scanner. It would have given you here this signal if you let it run on the H4. And I mark again here this candle where this box came. So this was the box, and we have to use the next candle because the box comes with the close of this candle, and so with the next candle we had jumped in, so we jumped in here. And if we go on a lower time frame, it was here this area, and you can see on the lower time frame on the H1 we had a sell signal some hours before already, which is also a good sign. And if you want to have a little bit more confirmation based on the H4 signal, which came here and was confirmed here, then you normally wait for a little retracement, exactly like here. Yeah? Here you have the signal, and if you want the extra confirmation, you wait that the price makes a little retracement, and it does it here. And then you draw here your trend line. And if then this retrace trend line got broken again, like here, then we jump here into a sell trade, and then you have a bit better entry than the signal on the H4. So we jump then in here. Here you got a signal based on H4. Normally it's always better to go then to a lower time frame to enter such a trade. If you use the signals on the H4 and you get here the signal, I would jump to the H1 or even to M30, for example. Let's see where the line is on the M30. On the M30 it was here, and it's the same process. You wait for a little retracement. It's the same retracement here we got then, and then you jump here in this sell trade. But H4 and H1 does work really good together, and you can see at the moment it formed here also support here. Let's see how it looks on H4. On H4 the support is not so obvious to see, but if you look back in history, you can see it's a really strong support where we are at the moment. Here was support, it was here support, and from this support on it always moved up again the last months. And so the big question is, does it this again, or gets this support line now broken here? And this is of course depends on the Aussie, which was very strong last week, and if the Aussie stays that strong, I think it's possible that this support line could get broken here. I would wait here for a break for this line, and then again the retest, and then it goes deeper. Or if this support line really holds for a while, so let's say it goes really up and it takes out this high and maybe this high and even this high, so the price comes all the way back here, and then it gets a little bit retraced and goes higher, then I would trust in a potential buy trade. But so far it really looks like a strong downtrend, and if we here draw again a trend line here, you can see if we connect here this and this, this trend line is not broken so far. We have really to wait if you want here to jump into a buy trade. And of course you could wait here on the H4, for example. You wait for the yellow box and a blue arrow, and then you could jump here into a buy trade if you get a signal on the H4, which is a very stable time frame here. I don't use the Agimat system on the daily time frame, to be honest. Even we get here also very good signals. You can see this was a very nice one. We had the blue arrow and the blue box, the yellow box, and then from there on it was going up and up and up and up. But I'm very sure we had here a blue arrow too. This was the high here, and then normally on such a high we get a blue arrow. Then you get here the yellow box, and I think this is then more or less a loser here. And on the daily time frame, the losers are bigger. We have a big stop losses, so I like it more on H4, H1. So typically, and if you're more on an intraday base, maybe you go to the M15. But the Agimat system, this is the 28 version, works the best H1, H4, I would say. So let's check some more pairs. Let's see the Euro USD, which I trade not that often. I tell you this many times that I don't like this pair because it has the two major currencies in it, and so it reacts to every news on Euro news and US news, so we have a lot of trend changes on this pair, but still we check it here and it looks like it came here to an end at this up move, so it struggled here to go higher in the last 2 trading days. And we have here at the moment a sell signal. You can see the blue arrow and the yellow boxes there. So this is basically here a sell signal and a sell signal on the H4. It came here, so we have to use the next candle because this box came on the close of this one. And if you go to the H1, you can see you already got your winner, because after we got this signal on H4, we go here to the H1, then we wait for a little retracement, and it came then here. You can see here was our retracement. Then we would wait here for the break of this retraced trend line, and then we could here make some pips. So max here around 40 pips the last hours of the trading week. Was a good signal. And if this is the beginning of a downtrend, of course we could now draw again here such a trend line, and we wait that it's got broken then, and then we go for a sell trade. You could make this, for example, but I'm not 100% sure that we already here see a strong sell. You can see we have here a lot of support, and this is exactly the place where we are at the moment. So it was here support, 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 many times support here. And I would jump in a sell trade here on this pair only now if we see a break of this support line. So it has to be broken. We have the retest of this line, and then it goes deeper. Then we can go until here with our target. Then this is the next logical target. Maybe we see this on Monday, or this line holds, and then I would wait here again for a signal maybe on the H4 or even on the H1 for a yellow box. So if we see maybe on Monday after the European session has opened, and you see here a yellow box and the blue arrow is here, and then we maybe can go again for a buy trade here. But it's a difficult position here at the moment. I want to do some more pairs, maybe 10-15 minutes more to go through the pairs. Let's check the Euro Yen, for example. We had here the last valid signal was here from the Agimat system so far. You can see the blue arrow, the yellow box, and then we had here all these nice blue Higanashi candles. If you wait until the first red one comes, you could go from here until here, so over 200 pips, for example. But very often we don't are that patient. We jump in, and then after 20 pips we are out. I know this happens. And we are here a little bit in a range now. Based on the H4, you can see the price does not really know what to do here. We are in this range. And let's check on the H1. I think I would wait here that the price comes out of this range, either here that it goes further down, or it can break here this high. And between these two lines, I would skip this pair so far. So we have to wait in the new week. It would be very good if we get here the break of this support line here, and then it retests the support, and then it goes further down. Then our next logical target could be here or here. Maybe you wait here on the H1 for a valid signal from the Agimat system. But I would not trade it between these two white lines here at the moment. I would wait it. We don't have to trade every pair, especially if we have such a range. The pound dollar, the cable, let's check what is going on here. We had here a sell signal, you can see from the Agimat system, and so far it did not work. You jumped in here if you had the signal here maybe, and then that stop loss is here, so we have to wait in the new week if this signal will be a winner or not. let's mark it here. The box came here, so this is the candle where we have looking for. You can see if you wait here for this retracement, like I told you, then you would see this retracement. You make here your trend line, and then you jumped in after the break of this trend line, and then you got some pips out of it. Then you have here 40, almost 50 pips in profit. It does not look like here on the H4. You think it's a loser, but if you check it on the H1 and enter on the H1, you get here a winner if you use this retrace method. Of course, if you jumped in here exactly on this signal, it is a loser. But if you use this retrace method, which I use the most, and I showed you the same with the Ultimate scanner already, if you wait here for such a retracement, and then of course you have to be a little bit patient, because we are under H1 here. You had to wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, around 8 hours. You have to check the pair then 8 hours, and then you jump in. And many people don't have this patient, are not that patient, and they see the signal and jump in, and then they are angry that it did not work. So you could, for example, after you see this signal here, what you can do is that you check after 3 hours, for example. We are here in the H4 signal, so if you go on the H1, a retracement needs 3, 4, maybe 5 hours. So you check it after 3 or 4 hours, and then you see here after 4 hours, okay, there are some blue candles. Then you draw here this trend line. You can already draw it here after this, some blue candles came. And if you have MetaGrid, the MetaGrid Trade Manager, you can tell MetaGrid that it trades the break of this trend line, for example. You set a trade for the break of this trend line. You can do this with MetaGrid. There are videos on my YouTube channel too. And so then you have it almost automated here in the automatical entry. You only have to check and wait for that retracement that you can draw a clean trend line. Okay, but you see it was a winner if you have waited for this retracement, and it is so far a loser if you jumped here blindly on the H4 in this trade. And by the way, it's the same like on the pair we saw before with this range. We are here also in a range here on the cable, and so I would do nothing here until we came out of this range even higher, or even here more in a down mood here. So we have to wait what the traders, the big traders, decide in the next week what they want to do. And remember, we have all the news, especially the FOMC on Wednesday, and I think we will see in which direction this dollar pairs wants to go after this FOMC meeting, and of course the non-payment farm roll. So these are the two news we have in the new week. On this pair. Okay. Let's see what pair we can check. I only want to check one more thing. The NFC I mentioned already. Yes, the non-farm payrolls. And I only want to check if we have some news on Wednesday. Okay. I showed you the news on the beginning of this stream. All good. We have here the pound yen, for example. It's a very popular pair which many people want to trade. We had here a signal. You can see we had here the blue arrow, then the yellow box. And let's see what we have here. We have to use the next one. Here was the box, and the next one is the candle. We know that the box is there. Let's go to a lower time frame, and you can see here we would here draw again here this trend line here on this pair, and then we got here the break of this trend line, and then we could make here again 50 pips in profit here. Okay, and it's the same here. If you jumped in blindly here in this signal on the H4, then it's maybe a loser here, because it then was first coming this retracement. So the signal was here. And if you wait it again for this retracement, you see it's much better. And you will see a lot of more winners with the Agimat system if you have this this method on it. And it's the same here. If you have the signal here, you check it after 4 or 5 hours, and then you see this blue candles, the Heigenschen candles. You know, okay, this is the retracement I waited. You draw then here maybe this trend line, and then you tell Metagrid, for example, to trade here the break of this trend line. Then you automatically enter the trade here, and then you maybe set a trailer after 20 pips, and then, yeah, you have your winner. Or you go for 30 pips maybe on the H1, and then you set a trailer with 10 pips behind or 5 pips behind. Yes, very easy doing. Of course, it will give you losers too. We saw only winners so far. It was a very good trading week for the Agimat system. Of course, you will see some losers too, but you see a lot of winners. And with the Agimat signal scanner, you got all the signals. You don't have to check the pairs and the signals. And this is the Agimat system 2018 basically, but it's improved in 2020. So it uses almost the same stuff as the 2018, but it's the 2020 Agimat software I use here for the scanner. And I think this was the best Agimat we saw so far. There is a new Agimat coming now the next days, the Agimat IQ. We don't know much about it, but still I think this is a very stable Agimat system, and I like this one here the most so far. It's easy to use, and with the scanner on it, you get the signals on your screen. So let's check some Kiwi pairs. We did not so far. You can see the last signal we had was here. We have this yellow box here on it. And so the next candle is the candle we can check here. If we go to the H1, you can see in this case we had a really big retracement, and this is one thing you should know if you make here your trend line. Okay, you see this is the blue candles are coming, and if you want to draw a trend line, normally we cover here this spikes here, and if you then see that it goes up and up and up and up, and this trend line never got broken so far, then you should skip this sale trade, because then it's very likely that it's not a retracement, but it's a trend change maybe. So a normal break of a trend line would be, and we have really to look for the spikes. So we had here the spiky candle, and if you want to draw a trend line, we don't draw it this way or a strange way. You have to see what are the lows from the last candles of this retracement. And we have this wick and this wick, and so we have to draw this trend line, of course, that way. And if you see here 10, 15, 20 candles is going up, and then please cancel this trade. And then because you would get a loser if we jumped in here, of course, and waited that long, and then we came here in this trade here. But still it made here 10 pips, but then you get stopped out here if you make here your stop loss. So if this retracement is not a retracement, like here, then you should cancel the trade. By the way, you can do this with Metagrid 2, that you draw a cancel line. And so if the price reaches a cancel line, and then Metagrid automatically cancels the complete trade here. So normally what we want to see is a retracement, like maybe until here. This is the max, and then it should break our trend line, but not here. After 20 or 25 candles or more, then this is not a good retracement. And we have here also a range here, you see, and yeah, at the moment I don't like this pair for new trades, we have to wait in the new week what is going on with the yen. But so far I don't see really a good trade. Maybe we could, let's see, it's a little bit a range too. If we see it from here to here, it's very rangy here. I think I would wait too here and what is going on. So a break of this or this line here, and I would skip it until it breaks one of these two lines here. Here's support, here's resistance. Maybe for smaller trades you find something on the lower time frame. So we make 2 more pairs. Let's check the Kiwi dollar. We had here our last signal here. Let's check this one. So this is then here our candle we have to observe. And you can see it looks like almost the same. We get here the retracement. So if we want to draw here a trend line and we cover here the spikes, maybe we would say it's still a retracement. I would call this as a loser, because I think if we draw it that way, of course if we cover the spikes correct here, even then we come here into this trade. You can see if we cover here the spikes, I think it was going up a little bit too high, but still I think I would jump here into this trade if we get here a clear break. The only thing is that it did not clear break this trend line. But if you use, of course, the automatic method, so from MetaGrid, where you say I want to automatically trade the break of this trend line, you get here a loser. If you are sit in front of your screen and you wait for a close below this trend line, then you would not jump in this trade, because then you see it goes higher and higher and higher. Then you don't have a loser. If you trade it automatically, then you would get here a loser. If you wait for the clear break, which is a close of this trend line, then you stayed out of this trade here. It's a good example here to see the difference between the automatic trading and the manual trading. Of course, the manual trading is a little bit better than most times, because you can observe it with your own eyes. Maybe I add on the MetaGrid additional function that it waits for the close below such a trend line, that it then opens the trade and not only the break. This is something I have in mind for future updates, but it depends how you had to trade at this one. But you can see again, it goes up and up and up and up here, and so it's not a retracement anymore, then it's a up move here. But I think we came here into a trade with the automatic trading, not with the manual trading. And let's do the last one. Maybe we can check gold here, what is going on gold. And we have all this stuff here. Let's see if I can remove here the price grid. So, because on gold the price grid from Agimat is not very helpful. Gold is really going up the last weeks and months based on all the stuff is going on in the world. Gold was a very good trading opportunity. It formed here this support, and from this support on it was going up. And you can see I don't like trade gold very often, and I'm not sure if the Agimat system is the best for gold, but we can still look for this signal here. It came here, so then the next candle is the one we can observe. And in this case, you can see this is what a retracement should look like. Here we can also draw a very good trend line. And we have not these spiky candles like we saw before. And then if we come here in this trade, then we can here make the pips. And you can see here, it's not a move over days, but for 1-2 hours you could make here a good money with this break of this trend line here. And this is the better way how a retracement looks, not these spiky candles, but blue candles where we can draw a nice trend line, and then this break here would give you a winner here, in this case on gold. But I trade gold normally maybe 2 times a year or so. I don't like it that much. Of course, if we had noon here, that from this support here on, it was going higher and higher. We could make a lot of money here on there with gold here. But you never know. And we have here a really clear trend line here on this pair. You can see it here. A very nice one. So the next maybe possible entry, if you want a good entry on the gold, is when it comes back here to this trend line here. And if it then goes higher again, then maybe you can jump into a trade again. It looks like a bit that it stopped here. The gold, you can see, made here clear higher highs, and now it begins not to make that so clear higher highs. It begins here a little bit to struggle here at this area. So maybe we see after a long time again maybe a bigger retracement again back to this trend line. So if you want a risky trade, you can try it with a sell trade here back to this trend line. But this depends also on the FOMC and the NFP in the new week. So, but if you want it more risky, then please go to gold. Okay, this was my journey through the Agimat signal scanner and the Agimat signals we had the last week, and a little bit of forecast for the new week. I wish you again a good trading week, of course. Please join our Telegram groups too. And I'm very sure that I make some live streams in the new week too. If you have any questions, please write to support@metagrid.com. support@metagrid.com. Until next time, have a nice evening and day. Goodbye.